know that in December of 1812, John Luddig was the agent at the fort, December 20th, 1812, when the ground is frozen for many feet down. John Luddig recorded, I think, that it was a clear and moderate day that December afternoon, or that December morning when he was writing in his journals. But that evening he wrote that this evening the wife of Charbonneau died. The wife of Charbonneau died. She had a fever. There was nothing they could do for her. She died on the west side of the Missouri River, near the borders of present North and South Dakota. She died at a place called Fort Manuel, a fur trading post that was established in Arikara and Lakota country down in South Dakota. This fur trade expedition had just come up the river the year before. It was a Manuel Lisa fur trade expedition. And when they left St. Louis in the spring, April of 1811, and they made their journey up the river, there was a man, again, keeping a journal. His name was Henry Brackenridge. And Henry Brackenridge noted in his journal as they made their way up north, up the Missouri River, he made a note of all of the people who were on board that boat. And again, he wrote in his journal that we have with us Toussaint Charbonneau and his snake wife, both of whom accompanied the Lewis and Clark expedition. Now, are we to believe that he could have confused her with any of Toussaint Charbonneau's other wives? Because when we read the oral traditions of Indian people who later relate the story, all of these women become confused, and we really are not certain which of those wives they are really actually speaking of. All we know is they are talking about Charbonneau's wife. Well, in this instance, he says the snake wife, both of whom had traveled to the West Coast. We know that all of the wives of Charbonneau did not travel to the Pacific Ocean, but Sakakawea did. This is the woman who was at Fort Manuel. This is the woman we believe died on December 20th in 1812. But did we really say goodbye to Sakakawea that day in December? Was that really her who died? Because there are all these conflicting stories. There are people who are adamant in their position that she lived on, that she traveled extensively to the South Pass, up and down the Missouri River, that she continued to serve as an interpreter, actually helping to communicate with Indian tribes in Wyoming and in different parts of the country. All of these oral traditions that have later been recorded mention her and other wives of Toussaint Charbonneau, but it's so confusing that at this point we can't say with 100% certainty that Sakakawea was buried at the Wind River Reservation in 1884, at nearly the age of 100. We cannot say for certain that they said farewell to her there that year in that place. And the story that the Hidatsa advance about the Bullseye's grandmother's story, this is Eagle Woman. We know that Bullseye's grandmother was named Eagle. And in some of the oral traditions, they only call her Eagle or Eagle Woman. Was she the woman who died up in Montana near present Glasgow and then was brought back here and buried near the confluence of the Yellowstone and the Missouri? There's a Comanche woman who traveled, or not a Comanche woman, but there was a woman that the Comanche claim was Sakakawea. She came to live among them for a short time, and then she left. They called her Lost Woman. The Comanche people today claim that that is Sakakawea. But when they saw this woman, even though she had given birth to 5 more children there in Comanche country when she married that Comanche man, but she left him. And when they said farewell to her, were they saying farewell to Sakakawea of the Lewis and Clark expedition? Or were they saying farewell to that Ute woman that Charbonneau took as his wife when he and another fur trade expedition traveled down to the South Pass?